Welcome to the People's Debate League. I thank you and appreciate you being here. Let me go in here, man. 'Cause I've been listening to a lot of information, and I'm trying to. I'm not gonna do that. Look, I've listened to a lot of information, and I believe there's a lot of fluff and flim flam and a lot of crap going on around, right? And we need to get to the bulk of the matter, get to the nitty gritty, I guess they would say. Um, so as you watch my other video, you see me talk about the 360, right? Okay. And this video here, right? The 360 leads you into what? The Babylonian astronomy. Now, why is that important? Because Babylonian astronomy explains what those numbers could be, what they represent, what they are talking about, right? Let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm gonna go into this Babylonian astronomy. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna try not to be boring and dull. I'm gonna try to read this as exciting as possible. But I'll let you know that this here is not really an exciting read. It's quite boring read. So, um, and it's a lot of mistakes to be made, but I'm gonna read it based on this here. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you up front that this here I'm reading is not a primary source, right? But it does lead to a book by James Evans out of Oxford University, and another book, I'm not sure the book, but another guy out of MIT. So let me go ahead and I guess you guys can see this now, right? I'm sharing the screen, okay? So let me go ahead into this, right? Here it is. It says Insight into the Babylonian History. Okay, sorry. I hate this crap. This is such a distraction. Okay. Insight into ancient Babylonian astronomy. Listen, bigger so I can read it and can help you guys see it as well. So 2,500 years ago, the ancient Babylonians constructed mud brick towers that rose up toward the night sky. Let me stop right there for a second, right? It says some 2,500 years ago, the ancient Babylonians constructed mud brick towers that rose up toward the night sky. Is this what they were talking about as being the Tower of Babel? Were these the things that they were constructing that were considered the Tower of Babel? And here's why I'm asking that question. The towers known as ziggurats could have been very well making observations of the night sky in ancient Mesopotamia, present day Iraq, right? So these towers were making observation to the night sky, right? In Mesopotamia, which is present day Iraq. So I'm asking this question, was these ziggurats, what they believed, what the Bible talks about as being the Tower of Babel? When they were trying to reach God. So am I to assume, based on what I'm reading here, that these ziggurats were towers reaching towards the night sky, that they were praying or looking in or studying the stars? Is this why they say God confused the languages? I'll stop there. That's the thought that goes in my mind when I hear this. That's where my brain begins to work at that point. So if anybody has more information on this, can explain this to me, I'm willing and open to listen. Okay. There's the night sky describes that, wait, Scribes that may have used the towers gathered unrivaling knowledge of the heavens. However, the Babylonians contributed more than just building towers of the world to ancient astronomy. Okay. In ancient times, tablets were often kept by the cultures of record. Wait, sorry, read that again. In ancient times, tablets were often kept by cultures to record important dates, traditions, historical accounts of their culture, and astronomical events that occurred. The ancient Babylonian tablets spoke of a table that recounted many astronomical events. The first breakthrough in deciphering ancient scripts came as a result of deciphering the Rosetta Stone, which had been discovered by French soldiers during the campaign in Egypt in 1799, led by Napoleon. The Rosetta Stone eventually found its way to the British Museum, consisting of three inscriptions, one above the other. Each inscription was identical, except that it differed in its script. One of the scripts was in Greek and once deciphered led to the breakthrough in understanding the Egyptian demonic and hieroglyphic texts. Okay, moving on. Ancient Babylonian tablets that were recovered were also being deciphered by scholars and priests alike. Thousands of them were arriving in Europe from the Near East. Most of them were discovered casually by laborers working around the construction sites. Museums officials were purchasing these tablets from antiquities merchants in Baghdad. Unlike the Rosetta Stone, there were no key to understanding the script. Instead, a group of scholars worked on the scripts with laborious study over a period of many years. What was revealed? What was revealed from the what was revealed from deciphering the tablets was absolutely astonishing. The present day arrangement of the calendar into the present pattern of weeks and months is in part attributed to the ancient Babylonian scribes. Stop. This is what I need. Okay, here it says, what was revealed from deciphering the tablets was absolutely astonishing. The present day arrangement of the calendars into the present day pattern of weeks and months is in part attributed into ancient Babylonian scribes. So let's go into the calendar. We know that the calendar has 365 days of the year, that the 360 is roughly that 365 is roughly trying to use the right words because I know there's people who are listening and criticizing. So the 365 is related to the 360. I'll just say that 365 is related to the 360, right? So now let's go into the months. 360, right? Days in a year are roughly 365, right? Roughly 365 days, right? So here it is. 12 divided by 360 is 30. Okay. 12 divided by 360 is 30. Now, when you look at it, it'll actually say 12 divided by 360 is 0.0333333, right? This is where I believe that the number 33 came from, right? But however, 12 goes into 360 30 times. 12 goes into 360 30 times. This is a fact. 12 goes into 360 30 times, right? The last recorded date of Jesus, his last recorded age of Jesus is 30. You will find in the Bible that it says that he was about 30 years old. I want you to take that into note. About 30 years old. Second, so we know, it's about calendars now, right? So we know that there are 30 days in a month. There are 12 months in a year. 12 divided by 360 is 0.0333333, right? Which means 30. Here's another one. We know that there's 24 hours in a day. We know that the Bible talks about 24 elders. There's 24 hours in a day, and the Bible talks about 24 elders. Okay? We know that. Okay? And 24 divided by 360 is 0.066666666. This is the 666, right? But we also know that 24 goes, 24 divided by 360 is how we get the 60 days of the month. That 66666 you're seeing is 60. 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in a minute. Okay? This is what I believe they're talking about right here. When you said the present day arrangement of the calendar into the present pattern of weeks and months. Attributed to the ancient Babylonian scribes. I'm going to continue reading. The Babylonian scribes predicted the motion of the moon with mathematical precision. Did I not just give you the math? You're welcome. Scholars also identified the names of the major planets on the tablets, thus paving the way to future discoveries. Okay, here we go again. Western astrology can also be Western astrology can also be directly linked to the Babylonians. The 12 signs of the zodiac used today are essentially the same ones developed by the ancient Babylonians some 2,500 years ago. Eclipses were also predicted to a great deal of accuracy. They practiced sophisticated arithmetics dating back to 1800 BC during the early stage there are already existed tablets for divisions, multiplications, squares, square roots, exponential functions, and other mathematical procedures. Algebra was also used to tackle problems. In fact, the Babylonians knew of the famous Pythagoras theorem a full 1,000 years before Pythagoras. Methods used to compute the heavens. Only about 1,700 Babylonian astronomical tablets have been published so far. Many thousands, unrecorded in the storage rooms of the museum throughout the world. Furthermore, the ones that have been studied belong to the period of only the last few centuries, from 400 BC onward, by which most of the astronomical techniques used by the scribes had already been developed. So essentially, we know very little about the methods used by the scribes to accurately predict the motions of stars, planets, timing, eclipse. What is known, however, is that around 400, 300 BC, a true system of mathematical astronomy arranged, and the scribes were able to draw on centuries of observation. I'm going to stop right there. Next, I'm going to be a little bit more. After consulting these lists, the scribes looked for patterns among the timing of the events. The number patterns that resulted were then projected into the future, recorded in tablets similar to the present day astronomical almanac. As far as scientific inquiry into what caused the motion of the heavens, the ancient Babylonians seemed to be unconcerned with this aspect. Now, this is another important part, getting into the influence of Greek, right? And what the Greeks did, because the part of the, I believe the last part of the Bible is Greek, right? I think it's Aramaic, and then the Greeks, might be the last part. And if I'm wrong, I stand corrected, and I have no problem with what I don't know. I'm here to learn just as you are here to learn and teach the little that I can teach. So let me go into this. The influence of Greece. When Alexander the Great conquered Mesopotamia, the Greek world came under the influence of Babylonian culture. Greek astronomers and philosophers were exposed to the knowledge acquired by the Babylonians over many centuries earlier. Greek philosophers who were influenced by the Babylonians include Hipparchus and Ptolemy. Hipparchus is known to have improved the value for improved the values for the period of the moon and from the Babylonian theories. The Metonic cycle, devised by the Greek astronomers, Meton in Athens, is also attributed to the ancient Babylonian scribes. So I'm gonna give a reference because other parts of this you might find more information on, and books and things like that that you can look into, right? So the first reference is The History and Practice of Ancient Astronomies by James Evans. Oxford University Press. The second is the astronomy of the ancient Kemetic, the astronomy of the ancients, Kenneth Breacher and Michael Firtag, MIT Press, 1981. So again, that's more information if you look into that you can find. I hope that this gave you some great detail on what is being done here, right? It seems to me, based on what I've been studying and what I'm looking at, right, there are a mix of different cultures that were placed into the Bible. The Greeks conquered Babylon, and the Babylonians were studying the stars and using math in earlier times, right? But also, it's not here, but also the Egyptians were also at that time studying math as well. I want to say this to you, right? That there's so much evidence, right, that exists that tell you, right, even in here, right, that we've been misunderstanding what the Bible is telling us. And I say that because there's so much evidence that proves that these people were studying stars or praying to stars. You know, I think they were more studying stars than they were praying to stars, right? And this is why you can see that the things I'm giving you add up, right? I've given you a couple of facts. Uh, there are 30 days in a month. There are 60 minutes in an hour, right? You can do the math. 360, 12 divided by 360 is 0.033333, right? Which is 30, right? 24 divided by 360 is 60 or 66666. You can do it yourself. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, the math does not lie. The history also explains a lot of what I'm saying. It tells you that they were creating calendars, that they were calculating the moon and the sun, and they were and they tell you about the towers. So if they were trying to reach God, they were trying to get into the heavens. They were. I'm going to digress. Right? I'm going to digress, but I want you to look at what I'm saying. Right? Look at the evidence that I placed before you. I don't have all the answers, but I'm figuring it out. And I know that I'm on the right path. I'm on the right path. And let me let me just end this with this saying here too, right? They're using math, you know, to build AI, to build computers. They're using this for all this stuff here, right? And we are ignoring this. Okay? I'm talking about black people right now. You know, Africa, America, all of us. You know what I'm saying? It's the Hispanic, all of us. I'm talking all of us, right? We are ignoring this. We need to start getting into the math. We need to start understanding what they're talking about, right? They've using our ancient binary system, which I'm gonna stop. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. And I'm just dropping it down on you guys. I gotta stop. I'm stopping right here. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate you taking the time to spend with me. Peace. I'm out.